with another chapter of the Treasure Discovery by LizzeXX. We're on chapter 23, so let's just get right into this. And if you want to follow along to the chapter, link to both archive and fanfiction.net will be in the description below. There's not really any difference as far as I'm aware. It's just archive has embedded pictures in some of the chapters, like one chapter per episode. That makes sense, right? But yeah, so I do recommend you follow along because I do have a tendency to miss out or like skip words. That was basically the same thing I said. But yeah, I do have a tendency to skip words, and it makes it easier to follow along, I feel like. So yeah, let's just get right into it, shall we? With chapter 23, The Parting of the Ways, Facing the Daleks. Rose pounded at the door frantically when a hologram of the Doctor appeared. Standing before the console behind her, faced the door, flickering. "This is Emergency Program 1, the program said, as she spun around to face it. "Rose, now listen. This is important. If this message is activated, then it can only mean one thing." She stared wide-eyed. "We must be in danger, and I mean fatal. I'm dead or about to die any second with no chance of escape." She lunged forward. "No! And that's okay. Hope it's a good death." She stopped at the top of the ramp, staring at him. "But I promised to look after you, and that's what I'm doing. The TARDIS is taking you home." "I won't let you." She rushed up the remainder of the steps as the hologram just stared ahead, not looking at her. "I bet you're fussy about me now. Typical. But hold on and just listen a bit more. The TARDIS could never return for me. Emergency Program 1 means I'm facing an enemy that should never get their hands on this machine. So this is what you should do. Let the TARDIS die." Her mouth dropped open as she moved to the side, leaning heavily against the Y-beam. "Just let this old box gather dust. No one can open it. No one will even notice it. Let it go, strange little thing standing on a street corner. And over the years, the world will move on, and the box will be buried. And if you want to remember me, then you can do one thing. That's all. One thing." He turned his head to face her as though he knew she was standing there. "Have a good life. Do that for me, Rose. Have a fantastic life." She just watched as the hologram flickered and faded. "You can't do this to me." She strode over to the console. "You can't." She slammed down any button she could find, pulling all the levers, twisting every knob. "Take me back! Take me back!" But it didn't work. The engine just died down to a halt, landing. She ran over to the doors and rushed outside just to find herself at the power station. She ran back in, refusing to accept that, hitting the console. "Come on, fly! How do you fly? Come on! Help me!" Mickey rushed around a corner, bolting down the street, just as Rose stepped out of the TARDIS, defeated, leaning against the side of it as he caught up. "I knew it!" he cried. "I was all the way down in Clifton Bray. I heard the engines, and I thought, there's only one thing that makes a noise like that." He frowned, seeing her near tears. "What is it?" Rose just turned and looked at him. "Rose, what happened to the Doctor? And Angel?" He'd grown quite fond of the girl the last time she'd been there, and he had to admit he was worried about her, especially when Rose just pulled him to her, clinging to him as she cried. "Rose, I've called up the internal laser codes." Jack came over the comms. "There should be a different number on every screen. Can you read them out to me?" "She's not here," Angel said quietly. "Of all the times to take a leak." Angel frowned, looking up at that. "Humans leak?" She looked at the Doctor, wondering what on earth humans could possibly leak, but he just shook his head, too solemn for even that to hear him. Jack, though, gave a little laugh. "When she gets back, tell her to read me the codes." "She's not coming back," the Doctor added. "What do you mean? Where'd she go?" "Just get on with your work." "You took her home, didn't you?" "Yeah." "The Delta Wave. Is it ever going to be ready?" "Tell him the truth," came a booming voice. They looked up to see the Emperor of the Daleks projected on the largest monitor. There is every possibility that the Delta Wave could be complete, but no possibility of refining it. The Delta Wave must kill every living thing in its path, with no distinction between human and Dalek. All things will die by your hand." Doctor, the rage of this transmitter covers the entire Earth, Jack reminded him warningly. You would destroy daleks, humans together. If I am God, the creator of all things, then what does that make you, Doctor? There are colonies out there, the Doctor countered, getting up. The human race would survive in some shape or form, but you're the only Daleks in existence. The whole universe is in danger if I let you live. He looked over at Jack on another screen. Do you see, Jack? That's the decision I've got to make for every living thing. The decision we've got to make, Angel corrected, walking over to him to look at Jack. Die human or survive as Daleks? What would you do? You sent her home, Jack said. She's safe. Keep working. But they will exterminate you, the Emperor yelled. Jack smirked. Never doubted them? Never will. The Doctor grinned and strode across the room to the screen as Angel smiled and thanked to Jack as his screen turned off. Now, you tell me, God of all Daleks, because there's one thing I never worked out. The words bad wolf spread across time and space, everywhere, drawing me in. How'd you manage that? I did nothing, he replied. Oh, come on. There's no secrets. Now, your worship. They are not part of my design. This is the truth of God. The monitor clicked off. The Doctor raised his eyes to the bad wolf logo on the wall as Angel walked over to him, looking up at the words as well, frowning. It really isn't the Daleks, she said quietly. Just knowing the words had far more impact, had more meaning than a Dalek could design. What do we do? He asked her, at a loss. He really didn't know what to do. Refine the wave, kill the humans. Not refine the wave, the Daleks will kill the humans. There really was no winning scenario in this entire mess, and times like these, where he always looked at her for help, for faith. She had such unshakable faith in him, an unbreakable belief that he could do it, that sometimes he just needed one person to feel that way, to feel it himself. And Angel, well, she truly lived up to her name. She was the most faithful person he'd ever met, not just in how she felt with others, but how he felt about her. He had faith in her, trusted her, in a way he'd never had before, not even on Gallifrey, not even with the mother of his children. He never really ever let anyone get that close, let anyone in. But Angel, he didn't understand why, but she slipped into his heart without him even realizing it. We refine the wave. She shrugged, as though it was simple. With 2 time wolves working, we might just get it refined enough. You feel that? She shook her head slightly. No, she answered bluntly. But I believe in that. He smiled. There she went again. You really are an angel, aren't you? She laughed. Well, we've got a god back there. Why not an angel? He laughed as well, and they turned, dashing back to the wave, working as fast as they could. And it's got an arcade, this place, Jackie commented, as she and Mickey sat across from Rose in a chip shop. They're doing little tubs of coleslaw now. Rose just looked out the window, not paying attention to them or her food. Not very nice. Tastes a bit sort of clinical. Have you tried that new pizza place down Minter Road? Mickey glanced at Rose, concerned. What's it selling? Pizza, he replied, knowing she was as distracted by Rose as he was. Oh, that's nice. She nodded, looking at Rose, still just gazing out the window, downcast. Do they deliver? Yeah. Oh, Rose, Jackie pleaded, turning to her daughter completely. Have something to eat. 200,000 years in the future. Rose muttered, tears in her voice. They're dying. They're both dying. There's nothing I can do. Well, like you said, 200,000 years? Way off. But it's not. Rose finally turned to look at her. It's in hell. That fight is happening right now. They're fighting for us, for the whole planet, and I'm just sitting here eating chips. She spat, angry, upset. Listen to me. Jackie leaned forward as Rose fell silent again. God knows I have hated that man, and I haven't met that girl yet, but knowing him, I'd probably hate her too. Right now, though, I love him. And do you know why? Because he did the right thing. He sent you back to me. But what do I do every day, Mum? What do I do? Get up, catch the bus, Go to work, come back home, eat chips, go to bed. Is that it? It's what the rest of us do, Mickey remarked quietly. Sure, he'd probably love to go on adventures. Angel had told him about a few of them, and the way she looked at him sometimes told him maybe she'd like to have a companion of her own. Maybe even him, but no one ever asked. No one ever even thought to ask him if he'd like to experience it all, see it for himself, see what was so great about it. The doctor certainly didn't seem so keen to have him, even the one time he had asked. He could just tell the man hadn't wanted him around. But I can't, Rose shouted, cutting off his thoughts. Why? 'Cause you're better than us. No, I didn't mean it like that, Rose said, frustrated, pausing, trying to calm down. But it was better life, and I don't need all the travelling and see aliens and spaceships and things. That don't matter. The doctor showed me a better way of living a life. Even Angel taught me to appreciate the little things in it. She looked at their eyes, looking at Mickey for a moment. You know, he shows you too. She took a breath. But you don't just give up. You don't just let things happen. You take a stand. You say no. You have the guts to do what's right when everyone else just runs away, and I just can't. She broke off suddenly, kicking the table in frustration, and leapt to her feet, running out the shop in despair as Jackie and Mickey glanced at one another. Jack placed Linda at the computer of the observation deck. Right, Linda, you are my eyes and ears. When the Daleks get in, you can follow it on that screen and report to me. Understood, she nodded. They'll detect you, but the door is made of high combination. Should keep them out. Should? It's the best I can do. He smiled at her sadly before calling it to his wrist device. How long till the fleet arrives? They've accelerated, the bitch replied over the comm. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We are at war. He turned and ran out the room as rows and rows of Dalek ships approached. Rose sat on a bench outside, staring at space, as Mickey stood over her. You can't spend the rest of your life thinking about the doctor, Mickey told her gently. Or Angel. But how do I forget him? How do I forget either of them? You got to start living your own life. You know, a proper life. Like my teeth never had. The sort of life that you could have with me. Rose glanced away, seeing the words Bad Wolf written in huge letters on the playground floor in spray paint. Astonished, she stood up and walked over to them, Mickey following. She looked up and realized the words were graffitied all over the playground walls, too. Over here? It's over here as well. She ran over as Mickey called after her. That's been there for years. It's just a phrase. It's just words. I thought it was a warning. Rose began, her excitement growing. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's a message. The same words written down now are 200,000 years in the future. It's a link between me and the Doctor and Angel. Bad Wolf here, Bad Wolf there. But if it's a message, what's it saying? Rose just ran off. It's telling her I can get back. The least I can do is help them escape. The volunteers set up to face the Dalek as Jack gave them instructions. Stand your ground, everyone. Follow my commands. And good luck. DeVitch handed a gun to the female programmer. You're right, Linda shouted over the comm, watching the screen. They're forcing the airlock on 494. The Doctor and Angel walked fast. The satellite shook terribly around them, sitting across from each other with the wires before them. The Doctor working on connecting them to a lever beside him. Angel glanced over at the large monitor, able to see the Dalek ships floating there and frowned. You know, she began, I think I might have a name among the Dalek legends too. He looked up sharply. You do? She nodded. When I faced that one during the war, the one from the museum, he said... She hesitated, a bit confused about the whole thing. He said that he wanted the pleasure of killing the life-bringer. She shook her head. He was probably half mad already, though. All the Daleks I faced in the film, none of them ever spoke to me before that. He died a moment as she went back to working before doing the same, promising himself he'd find out more about that when the fate of the planet wasn't hanging in the balance. The contestants of Floor Zero looked up into alarm as the station shook, not knowing the Daleks had just breached their walls. All the Daleks needs to do is make a return for it, Rose said inside the TARDIS. Just Reverse. Yeah, but we still can't do it, Mickey argued. The doctor always said the TARDIS was telepathic. This thing can listen. It's not listening now, is it? We need to get this idea. Last time I saw you with the Slovene, this middle bit open. She put her hand on the console panel that held the heart of the TARDIS. It was cold. And there was this light. And Angel said it was the heart of the TARDIS. If we can open it, we can make contact. I can tell it what to do. Rose? Hmm? She looked up at him. If you go back, you're gonna die. That's the risk I've got to take, she said confidently. Because there's nothing left for me here. Nothing? No, she said, looking away to try and get to work. Mickey looked down, so hurt by her words. After everything he'd done for her, put up with for her, his fears were confirmed. He must be nothing if even Rose thought so. Okay, if that's what you think. He took a breath, dignified despite the fact she'd ripped out his heart and crushed it. Let's get this thing open. Linda frowned. She watched the Daleks on the screen, watching the red lights moving through the corridors. Okay, activate internal lasers, Jack shouted over the comm as the Dalek approached. Place them up. Defenses have gone offline, Linda called, worried. The Daleks have overridden the lock. A row of Daleks moved dangerously down a corridor as the volunteers readied their guns and moved into position, firing as soon as the Dalek came into eyesight, but it had no effect. The bullets melted away before they could even reach the armor. You lied to me, the floor manager shouted to her comm. The bullets don't work. But she still carried on firing, till Dalek fired its laser at her. She shouted in pain before slumping to the floor, dead. Mickey started the engine of his car, hooked up to a thick, strong train attached to the TARDIS console, speeding up, trying to pull it off. Faster! Rose shouted back to him. He slammed his foot down, smoke billowing from underneath the car, but the console refused to budge. Come on! He groaned out. It's not moving! Mickey growled with effort, the chain growing more taut, but still nothing, till the chain shuddered and snapped. Rose kicked the console in frustration, head down, defeated once again. I thought Scarlet had made it to 495, Linda called over the comms. Jack, how are we doing? The doctor's voice came over as well. 495 should be good, he told them. I like 495. Three dogs glided into 495, seeing something stationed ahead of them. Identify yourself, the first Dalek shouted. You are the Weaslink, the android stated. Goodbye. She fired 3 times in quick succession, disintegrating the Dalek. Jack punched the air in triumph, hearing this from another room. Yes! Another Dalek rolled in. You are the weakest link. The Dalek fired, blowing her head off. Goodbye. She paddled down. Proceed to the next level, the Dalek called as more Daleks entered and followed it. Flying up the ventilation shafts, Linda breathed on the comm before frowning, seeing lights do something else as well. No, wait a minute. Oh my God, why are they doing that? They're going down. The Australian contestant sat on floor 0 in a nervous silence when suddenly, exterminate! A Dalek ordered as they swarmed the room, shooting at as many contestants as they could while they screamed and tried to flee. You can't! Roderick shouted. You don't exist! A Dalek advanced on him, back him to the wall. Not fair! I won the game! I should be rich! I'm a winner! You can't do this to me! Linda quickly shut off the audio so she couldn't hear the screams of those of floor 0 being assaulted. She put her hand to her mouth, fighting back tears before opening the comm again. Floor 0, they killed them all. And that's the end. Chapter 23. We are so close to the end of this story still. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, go leave a review. We are now done here, but before you do, make sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday and Saturday. But yeah, we're done. So review, comment, kudos, all that. We're done. Bye now. And I'll see you guys next Friday with a new video.